A gorgeous day in the Steel City. Fans making their way to Acrisure Stadium to see the Pitt Panthers host the 9th-ranked Irish here in the North Shore. It was a rainy morning, but now the clouds have cleared just a bit. Sun's coming out, and the Irish continue their path to the playoffs. Head coach Marcus Freeman, the rumors to open coaching jobs are tied together, and they have been a hot topic all week long. We continue our conversation with former Steelers and Notre Dame quarterback Terry Hanratty, who talks about the job Freeman's been doing in South Bend. Well, you went from one football tradition to another, going from South Bend to Pittsburgh, and talk about playing in the 70s in Pittsburgh and the fans there, and maybe even relating the two, South Bend and Pittsburgh, two blue-collar cities, and playing for the tradition like the Steelers and winning 2 championships there.
Well, it's an interesting deal because I was Airport Seagan's first recruiting class. Then I was Chuck Noll's first draft class. So it was interesting to see the two. The two had 2 different ways of doing things, but both were great ways of doing it. There's more than one way to do things, and they both chose their way, and they're both highly successful at it. I mean, Aaron had much more of a personality about him, and Chuck was more cutthroat. Did not cut to the bed. He's more fundamental about everything, and everything is black and white with Chuck. There's no gray area, and but it was wonderful to do, and it had they're the same. Notre Dame as opposed to the Rooney family. Both are wonderful Irish, fighting Irish, and it was a great transition and an easy transition. I think playing in Pittsburgh for the Rooney family was just phenomenal. I mean, they were great people. And one thing about Art Sr., founded the team, and when he'd come into the locker room after every game, and you never knew by him whether you won or lost. If you come in, if you lost a game, you played a great game, we'll do better next week, blah, 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 blah. Never yet ranting and raving, yelling and screaming. And that was what I really liked about the whole Pittsburgh organization. Chuck Noll never yelled and screamed. If you made a mistake, you talked about it and tried to correct that mistake. Same with Eric. If you made a mistake, he never singled you out in front of your whole team, especially the quarterback. And he used to do that. The other guy before, I won't even mention his name, before Marcus, he used to call everybody on the sideline, yell and scream into the camera face, see how tough he was. But everybody, it's a team game, and your quarterback is your leader. You can't berate your leader in front of your whole team. You have to talk to them, and you in this day and age, I think you have to talk to everybody. Nobody wants you to yell and scream. Nobody wants you in their face, especially when they know there's 20 million people watching on TV. You don't want to be at the end of that conversation.
What do you think about the job that Marcus has done these first couple of seasons?
I got to go back to Airport Seagan to see what Marcus has done. Maybe some loopholes thrown in there, but other than that, I don't think, because you look at Notre Dame's always going to recruit the top line kids, but the depth that we haven't had in years. I mean, we've had a lot of injuries this year, and it's not falling off a lot. Our center went down, they put a guy in, he's playing great. It doesn't not that way in every position, but that's what's happening. And I think Marcus has done a great job of recruiting. And it takes a young, really tough guy to recruit, because that's a lot of work on the road. And Marcus, he gives the right message. I mean, he loves Notre Dame, and he realizes what Notre Dame can do for these kids. And so I think he really sells that to the parents, and that's where especially the mother. You got to recruit the mother. Forget about that kid who's the All-America running back. You got mom, you got the kid. That's it, right there. And I think Marcus does a great job at that. And I'm 100% sold on him.